The season of creation is an ecumenical celebration embraced by Christians around the world. It begins on September 1st, the World Day of Prayer for the Care of Creation, and culminates on October 1st, the Feast of Saint Francis of Assisi, patron of ecology. The season of creation is a celebration of God's loving kindness, expressed in the outpouring of God's own self in creation. As one segment of that loving creation, it is an opportunity for us to express our gratitude for what has been given to us and feel connected as people of faith. This year we are invited to listen to the voice of creation, so that our lives in words and deeds proclaim the good news for all the earth. This includes listening to the voices of people who hold wisdom about how to live within the limits of nature, and the voices of all God's creation. Pope Francis asks us to hear the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor. Earth is crying from the impacts of climate change and the loss of the variety of life. Communities who experience disadvantages are amongst those most impacted by these drastic changes. People, animals, plants, and all of Earth are in need of care. God's grace enables us to reflect on the goodness of creation, feel grief and lament for creation's cries, and pray for healing and guidance as we take care of Earth, our common home. Earth is the place where we live, the first book of God's revelation. In the Genesis creation stories, God said, "All creation is very good." Moses, the great Jewish prophet, first met God on Mount Horeb. Moses heard God in a voice coming from a bush that was blazing, but never burnt up. God used this marvel of creation to attract the curious Moses, and told him the ground on which he was standing was holy. Then God spoke to him and told Moses about the cries and suffering of the people. God heard their cries and cared about their fate, and asked Moses to do something about it. To do God's work in the world, Moses would be the bearer of God's good news, bringing freedom, peace, and happiness. During this season of creation, the flame, which is the symbol of God's Spirit, calls us to take notice and to listen to the voice of creation. Wherever our place is on earth, we share it with all creation. Our place is also where we feel most at home and belong. Having a sense of place helps us to grow in our relationship with God and in our care for all creation. What marvels do we notice when we spend time in nature? We are invited to reflect on our connection to holy ground within the light of God's healing love that sustains our common home. God promises to be with us and guide us.